Our next question starts out at Drive. How will UCSU urge for carbon neutrality on campus despite it being notably absent in the Flagship 2030 plans? What will UCSU do to promote sustainability on campus as well?
So, yeah, carbon neutrality on this campus is essential. CU has been a leader in environmental issues for I don't know how many years. When were we established? 18-something? 120 years, basically. And the fact of the matter is that we need to continue to do that. Right now, carbon neutrality isn't in the Flagship 2030 plan that is the Chancellor's initiative. That's one way that we need to ensure that students' voices are heard. It's the simple fact that students are driving sustainability on this campus. Students are driving the initiatives that are changing this campus and that are changing Boulder and that are changing the state of Colorado. The governor has claimed that we are now in a new energy economy. We're jettisoning that direction on fuel-efficient cars, and we need to support that initiative, work with the governor to make sure that CU's campus by 2060 is carbon neutral. We can do that, and the drive ticket has had a substantial amount of experience in doing this on student groups that work on environmental issues every day. And so I would just encourage, yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, well, sustainability is most certainly a key issue for not only CU, but our generation and our children as well. Through my work on various environmental projects, especially working with the carbon neutral class, I've come to the conclusion that conservation and efficiency are two key factors in sustainability, and the Solidarity Ticket will ensure that this university and its administration and its students push for policies that incorporate those two ideas. For example, we have building renovations that are currently upgrading, for example, air conditioning units. Sure, these air conditioning units may meet LEED's requirements and everything like that, but these air conditioning units are going into buildings like, I believe, Helms, Ketchum, for example. They still have single pane windows, so I understand that we need better air conditioning, but we also need to make sure that these buildings can hold in the air conditioning that that we're spending so much money, to improve on, basically. So I will ensure that our ticket supports conservation and efficiency, as I see those as being the only way towards sustainability. Regardless of renewable energy, in order to get to renewable energy, we need to make sure that our use and our impact and our waste is as little as possible to make the task of bringing renewables to campus as easy as possible and facilitate that whole process.
The University of Colorado has always been a leader in trying to create an environmentally sustainable campus. As executives, we have the responsibility to continue that legacy by pushing for carbon neutrality. I myself, as a member of Legislative Council, voted for legislation that was a pledge to try to work towards that carbon neutrality, and it is in the best interest of the University of Colorado students to try to enforce those changes and try to make sure that we do everything that we can to be as environmentally sustainable as possible.
And again, I'm glad that Chance brought that up. The legislation that he sponsored that he voted for was sponsored by myself and other members of the Drive Ticket who wrote it. And what we did was we submitted a proposal to the governor. It's under review right now. It's going to create a statewide revolving fund that'll fund sustainable projects for higher education. So that'll mean sustainable buildings that we can build through tax dividends from oil revenues. And this is going to be huge, and this is something that we have a great insight to with working also with Mr. Benson. And in one other piece too, we've become the second nation in the university, or second university in the nation to sign the President's Climate Commitment. And one of our representatives, Dan O'Mastas, is one of the only students sitting on a board with the Chancellor to come up with a plan about what do we do about carbon neutrality and what do we do to make sure that we are sustainable in the future.
Just a few comments. As far as the President's Climate Commitment Committee and everything, as far as I understand, there are very few students a part of that committee, and we need to make sure that students know about it. To be honest, as an environmental studies student, I did not know about it until the beginning of this year, and I felt like I should have known, a while ago, basically. So with that, with that being said, we need to make sure that those types of initiatives are advertised around campus, get students involved. Also with the revolving fund is a great idea. By putting in these air conditioning units as part of this is just an example, but putting in these air conditioning units that will save energy costs in X amount of ways, we can put that into improving the windows of Helms and Ketchum to make sure that these, it's a system. It's not just one thing. It's a system that we need to make sure works together.
I think it's important. CU has a great. We're constantly working really hard to improve the environment and do things that create an environmentally a campus that supports the environment. But also, I think it's really cool that we're part of a community, the Boulder community, that supports that as well. I think one of the biggest and greatest things about CU, I know in my own life so far here, is being able to utilize the public transportation system and encouraging students to do that, because it's a really cool thing that we had that's very unique. And so increasing different programs that allow for transportation that is environmentally healthy is something that I think the One Ticket would really like to be a part of and get going.